Hello, everybody, and welcome to DraftKings. That's right, this is DraftKings FC, and I'm your host, Ty Atkins. And joining me, as ever, to my left, we have got staff writer for DraftKings, Jamie Hinks. Over there, we have got Edo Delamonte, our European football correspondent. And next to him, the returning Andy Davies. That's right, the humorist himself is back from his fact-finding mission in the US. Before we crack on, Andy, we've all missed you. How was the USA?
Yeah, it was good. I checked out sports and stuff there.
Yeah.
It's rubbish.
And there you go, everybody. And that is why, as Andy has just confirmed, football, or soccer, as you North Americans call it, is the best sport in the world. And in particular, the English Premier League. And that's what we're talking about today. That's right. The EPL Week 8. And we're going to be looking at some particular matches. And the first one close to my heart, it is Chelsea versus Leicester. That's right. Last year's champions against the champions from the year before. Let's start with Jamie. Jamie, how do you see this game going?
I think it's an interesting one just because Chelsea obviously switched to that back three now, which I think is going to be quite successful for them, just especially with Terry coming back this week as well, although Willian is out. So
his mother just passed away, am I correct?
Yeah, confirmed that he's not going to play, which is very sad news, but I think that's not a particularly good sign for Chelsea because it's going to be Victor Moses out there, who I don't trust hugely from the start. At the moment, I mean, he's been okay, but yeah, the win against Hull was the first in 4 games. I think if you're targeting players in this game, just go for Chelsea players. They shoot all the time, they cross all the time. It's perfect for DFS. But Leicester are a bit weird. I'm finding that they're very poor just average in the Premier League, but very good in the Champions League. And I think Ranieri said as much earlier when he was like, "Oh, I'm going to rest some players." It's probably going to be the Premier League game and not the Champions League game where he rests the players.
Strange.
Which I'd probably do the other way around because the Champions League group is so easy that I think you're going to get a lot of joy there whoever you play. But yeah, last 2 away games against sort of top 8 teams, they've got absolutely blown away. And I don't see any different here. I think Chelsea will probably 2 or 3-1.
2 or 3-1. Okay, well, we can't overlook Leicester. They are the champions. They still have players like Mahrez and Vardy.
They've conceded 8 goals over the last 2 games, and they're not keeping clean sheets away from home, which was kind of one of the benchmarks last season of how they won the league. Was they went like 10 games where they won every game 1-0. They're not doing that now. So.
You are right. The defence is looking quite frail. Ed, I'm going to move over to you now. You're a Chelsea fan just like myself. How do you see this game going? Do you agree or disagree with Jamie?
No, I agree. I think the move to 3 at the back is generally a good thing. Here's my problem, maybe. We had the international break, which people say is a good time to get to work on the defence, but who's he been working with exactly? Because Gary Cahill was looking almost as bad as Jordan Henderson and John Stones against Lavinia. David Luiz obviously flew off, so I'm not sure if Chelsea have had that much to work on those defensive gremlins. And suddenly you think about Islam Slimani and you go, oh no. I mean, one between Slimani, Vardy and Mahrez is going to be 2 out of 3 will probably be good fantasy plays. There'll be shots there. There'll be goals there. I think Chelsea will concede. I think Leicester are dreadful, obviously, on set pieces, which will be a big issue because I think that Chelsea will eventually pull off the win. It'll be closer maybe than what I think Jamie has it, just because Chelsea haven't made any games easy this season. Even when they beat West Ham, they beat Watford. It really wasn't easy. Swansea, they basically dug themselves a grave and then got out of it thanks to Diego Costa. So the thing about Leicester as well is that, yeah, I worry about the defence. It's something Jamie said a couple of weeks ago about Amate, I think is particularly relevant. The big N'Golo Kante-sized hole in that midfield is going to have a huge impact. From Chelsea, I'm expecting more from Oscar, who started well, but you've not seen a heck of a lot of that since then. So I'm maybe going to go with Chelsea winning 3-2. It's going to be one of those chaotic games. I bet the odds for the over don't look very good, and I think people are expecting goals here. I think Chelsea may actually go behind in this and will eventually claw their way back into it, but it's going to be chaos, I think, at Stamford Bridge.
Okay, so an entertaining game for the neutral, you suspect.
Very much so.
Andy Davis, you're back. What's your take on this?
I mean, Leicester, they're one of the only teams that haven't picked up a point away from home, I think, this season. They've been awful. So they're not going to win. And they struggle to score away from home as well. I agree. I mean, the Kante-shaped hole is huge. And also it has the added effect for Chelsea. And I think Kante's, when you play against your old club, you like to you always step up a little bit to try and prove that you made the right move. I've got this down as a comfortable Chelsea win. I don't think Leicester are going to score. I've got 2-0 to Chelsea. I'm leaning towards what Jamie said more than a rather, let's say, less than confident Chelsea fan to my left. But no, I'm confident of a Chelsea win here. Leicester have been terrible on the road, and I can't see that changing, particularly with the Champions League coming up on the Wednesday. But I agree you should rest for the Champions League. I don't think Leicester are expecting to finish in the top 4 again. I think Leicester fans and and Ranieri, they'd rather have a good Champions League adventure than slog it out in the Premier League for another season. And rightly so. It's good fun for teams that are only ever going to be there once, probably. That's really hard.
I think I'd be worried if I'm about the top 10 for them at the moment.
Yeah, no, exactly.
We're going to talk about that, our early season previews.
Yeah,
Right?
so why not rest your players for the Champions League and enjoy that? In short, 2-0 Chelsea.
Interesting. What everyone's saying here then essentially is that Leicester can give up on any top 4 aspirations if the first 8 weeks of the Premier League is anything to go by. I too am a nervous Chelsea fan. I see this being a narrow win. A narrow win. It's an early afternoon kickoff, and with Chelsea, you just don't know what you're going to get. So I'm going to say 1-0 Chelsea. But what do you guys think? That's the important thing. What do you guys think? Maybe it's not important, but what is important is that you download the DK app if you haven't already. Get it down on your phone, your tablet, your home computer. Get involved. Play your friends, play us, play the world. This is DraftKings, everybody. Welcome to the big time.